There are long-standing consequences that will define who we are as a people. I'll briefly say that defense counsels put a lot of videos out in their defense, playing clip after clip of Black women talking about fighting for a cause or an issue or a policy. It was not lost on me as so many of them were people of color and women, and Black women like myself, who are sick and tired of being sick and tired for our children, your children, our children. This summer, things happened that were violent, but there were also things that gave some of us Black women great comfort. Seeing Amish people from Pennsylvania standing up with us, members of Congress fighting up with us. And so I thought we were past that. I think maybe we're not. There are long-standing consequences, decisions like this that will define who we are as a people, who America is. We have in this room made monumental decisions. You all have made monumental decisions. We've declared wars, passed civil rights acts, ensured that no one in this country is a slave. Every American has the right to vote, unless you live in a territory. At this time, some of these decisions are even controversial, but history has shown that they define us as a country and as a people. Today is one of those moments, and history will wait for our decision.
They have used selective editing and manipulated visuals to paint a picture far different from this truth.
Is to fight.
Our job is to fight.
We are in a fight. We are in a fight. We are in a fight.
Democrats are fighting as hard as we can.
Democrats are standing up to fight.
We know how to fight. We like a good fight.
Democrats are going to fight like hell.
We fight like hell.
I'm going to fight like hell.
I will fight like hell.
We're going to fight like hell.
I'm going to fight like hell.
Fight like hell.
I will fight like hell.
We have to fight like hell.
I know many of the senators and members of the House will fight like hell.
We are going to fight like hell.
We're going to fight like hell.
We're going to fight like hell.
And we just have to fight.
We're going to fight. We are going to fight. We're going to fight. We're going to fight.
Because you'll fight.
To fight.
Political revolution. That means that millions have got to stand up and fight.
And fight and fight. Stand up and fight back.
To fight.
And continue to fight. And once again, fight back in the fight.
We're fighting back.
My fight. To fight an administration.
You don't get what you don't fight for.
We'll also fight him and challenge him in every way that we can.
Fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets.
In the Congress, in the courts, and in the streets.
There's the fight, there's the fight, there's the fight, and then there's the fight to defend.
We're eager to take on this fight.
The American people are going to have to fight.
Get in this fight.
Get in this fight.
Around the clock fighting. We've got to keep fighting and keep focused.
We will fight when we must fight. We've been fighting, so we need to fight, but we also need to fight.
It's always going to be an uphill fight.
This is going to be a fight.
We always must fight.
We're in the fight of our lives.
And we're going to be in for the fight of our lives.
This is the fight of our life.
The fight of their lives.
We are in this fight for our lives.
We cannot ever give up fighting.
The House prosecutors have stated over and over again that President Trump was perpetrating a big lie when he repeatedly claimed that the election was stolen from him and that he actually won the election by a landslide. Are the prosecutors right when they claim that Trump was telling a big lie, or in your judgment, did Trump actually win the election?
The
counsel for the former president have 2.5 minutes.
My judgment? Who asked that? My judgment's irrelevant in this proceeding. It absolutely is. What's supposed to happen here is the article of impeachment is supposed to be...
The Senate will be in order. The senators, under the rules, cannot challenge the content of the response. The counsel will continue.
May I have the question read again, please?
The House prosecutors have stated over and over again that President Trump was perpetrating a big lie when he repeatedly claimed that the election was stolen from him and that he actually won the election by a landslide. Are the prosecutors right when they claim that Trump was telling a big lie, or in your judgment, did Trump actually win the election?
In my judgment, it's irrelevant to the question before this body. What's relevant in this impeachment article is, were Mr. Trump's words insightful to the point of violence and riot? That's the charge, that's the question. And the answer is no. He did not have speech that was insightful to violence or riot. The article of impeachment now before the Senate is an unjust and blatantly unconstitutional act of political vengeance.
The Schumer shift sham show is nothing more than partisan hackery and revenge.
This case, unfortunately, is about political hatred. It has become very clear that the House Democrats hate Donald Trump.
Yeah, they hated Trump from the beginning. I mean, let's just be, they detested him.
Like every other politically motivated witch hunt the left has engaged in over the past 4 years, this impeachment is completely divorced from the facts, the evidence, and the interests of the American people.
The witch hunt continues, and really what it is, it's a farce, it's a joke, and an insult to the American people.
This sham impeachment also poses a serious threat to freedom of speech for political leaders of both parties.
House Democrats are pushing forward with yet another sham impeachment trial against Donald Trump.
President Trump is the most pro-police, anti-mob rule president this country has ever seen.
While President Trump pushed for law and order, President Biden has allowed chaos and crime to go almost unchallenged.
And if you're worried you might ever be tried based on this type of evidence, don't be. You get more due process than this when you fight a parking ticket.
See, impeachment, the Rush impeachment, the Snap impeachment, the impeachment without any due process whatsoever. 5 minutes, you're impeached. There we go.
This unprecedented effort is not about Democrats opposing political violence. It is about Democrats trying to disqualify their political opposition. It is constitutional cancel culture.
What we're really seeing here from the Democrats is cancel culture on a constitutional level.
According to publicly available reporting, it is apparent that extremists of various different stripes and political persuasions pre-planned and premeditated an attack on the Capitol. One of the first people arrested was a leader of Antifa.
One of the guys at the riot, John Sullivan, we'll get into that later, was a anti-Trump, Antifa, anarchist, whatever you want to call him, anarchist.
In a proceeding seeking to bar him from ever holding public office again, and that seeks to disenfranchise some 75 million voters, American voters.
The same hatred, the same rage, that didn't go away. The utter disdain for 75 million of us, those that voted for Donald Trump, that we've documented on this program night after night.
We are the cavalry.
I saw one of those retweets. You said the cavalry is coming, Mr. President, and he was certainly pleased to see that.
House Manager Swalwell showed you this tweet this week, and he emphasized that this tweet reflected a call to arms. He told you repeatedly that this was a promise to call in the cavalry for January 6th. He expressly led you to believe that President Trump's supporter believed that the president wanted armed supporters at the January 6th speech, paramilitary groups, the cavalry, ready for physical combat. The problem is, the actual text is exactly the opposite. The tweeter promised to bring the Calvary, a public display of Christ's crucifixion, a central symbol of her Christian faith, with her to the president's speech, a symbol of faith, love, and peace. They just never want to seem to read the text and believe what the text means.
I saw one of those retweets. You said the cavalry is coming, Mr. President, and he was certainly pleased to see that. What have you been hearing from these supporters that are making their way towards the nation's capital?
Yes, not only are they standing for President Trump, they believe that, as do I, that he's been fighting for us for the last 4 years, and now it's time for us really not to be the silent majority anymore.
We can't get anywhere with just a leader or just a party or just a court ruling, because they don't play by the rules. The rules are just for us. We are the cavalry.
For 4 years, he has fought for us, and now it's time that we fight for him.
The point is this, that by the time you call the cavalry, not Calvary, but cavalry of his thousands of supporters on January 6th, an event he had invited them to, he had every reason to know that they were armed, violent, and ready to actually fight.